shop put together Starbucks. Ideas. You know, you can take different ideas, put it together, it becomes a new idea. So you can mix ideas. We can mix people. There's a second thing called people mix. People talk about their experience and you learn from their experience, their viewpoint, their insight, their foresight, their foresight, their oversight, their vision, their knowledge, their experience, their information. You mix it up. When people get together and network, what happens? You get new ideas. Again, people mix. The third thing is called activity mix. You mix activities. You don't keep doing the same thing. You try different things. If one thing doesn't work, you try different things. The second thing doesn't work, you try the third thing. You keep working, doing different things. That's called the activity mix. So you mix ideas, you mix people. So two things are happening today. Ideas are getting mixed. And we have people getting mixed. We have the networking. And next thing what we need to do is come out with great insights in which you can try different things. Come out with ideas where we could go experiment, play it out, and make it happen. More importantly, every challenge that you go through is a goal that you haven't accomplished. Every challenge that you face, it's a goal that you haven't accomplished. If somebody says, I have a financial problem, that's a challenge. It's because he has not set a financial goal for himself. If somebody says, I have a health problem, a health challenge, well, that's not a goal that he has set for himself. So every challenge that we experience is nothing but a goal that we haven't set and realized. So what you got to do is that you got to name your challenge and turn that into a goal. Write a challenge. If you could just write one challenge that is facing you today, your industry, please make a note of that right now. A small exercise, we're just going to take up about a minute to do that, and we're going to turn that into a goal, and we're going to just say how it can be done. Okay? The first question, what is your challenge? You write your challenge down, turn that into a goal. How do you phrase that into a goal? So now it has become a goal for you. Then you ask why you want to achieve that goal. Then figure out how. Because the why gets stronger, how we'll find a way. There'll be many ways to figure out how to do it when the why is very strong. So instead of looking at challenge, we have this problem, that problem, we have this issue over here, this challenge over here. Turn that everything into a goal. And then look out for ways to figure it out. So the smart question we can ask is, how can I? Not why this is happening. How can I turn things around? How can we find a solution to this problem? And for that, you need to change your perceptions. Because this is what happens. You change your perceptions, it changes your reality. See, you can look at your circumstances, and here's a great formula for you. It's not what happened to you that matters. It's how you interpret what happened to you that matters. That determines the outcome. It's not the event, but how you respond to that event. The event can be unfavorable to you, but the way you're going to have a response to that event will finally determine the outcome. You know, two people can have a heartbreak experience. Two guys can say, I had a heartbreak experience. The first guy can interpret and say, never again I fall in love. That's his response to that event, and probably stay single for his entire life. Or the rest of the person say, I'm going to fall in love again and again and again. Probably that's a response to that event. We can look at things differently. And what ultimately determines the outcome is not the event or the circumstances. What really determines the outcome is response to that outcome, response to that event. So that's where we reframe. And this is about reframe, isn't it? So is the glass half full or half empty? Well, it depends. You know why? If you have an empty glass and somebody pours half, we look at it and say, and it's a half full. If it is a full glass and somebody empties half of it and leaves the half there, it's half empty. It's again how we look at it. our situation. So what we need to do right now is to reframe the challenges. And this is what happens when you reframe the challenges. When you change the way you look at something, what you look at changes completely. It's all in the eye of the beholder. Your reality, your experience is very individual. It's very personal. We can have the same event and we can go back with different experiences. It's all how we respond to it, how we look at it. So we don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. So we have a challenge, we have a problem, we can blame it, that particular situation. That's who we are. So it's all determined by the filter we use to view things. And all of us are filters. We all look through certain filters. And it is those filters, sometimes this is not helping you, we need to change the filter. Because we have to get a clear vision of the future. So, it's a challenging time, or is it a great time for opportunities? It's a time for great opportunities. What is it? Okay. You have heard about John Templeton, one of the greatest investors? Okay. You know, he started his investment during the World War. When Hitler attacked Poland on the Second World War, John Templeton, he knew that the stock market is crashing in Wall Street. So he had $5,000 of his money. He borrowed another $5,000. Now he has $10,000. He goes to Wall Street and buys most of the stocks of companies which is below $2. Everybody was desperately trying to sell it off. They know the war is going to change the landscape of the finances. It's going to be a very bad situation. Things are getting ugly. But he made his investment. But the war didn't last forever. What happened after 5 years? Economy boomed. His investment of $10,000 now has become millions. He did another clever thing. What happened after Second World War, which is the country that has been devastated the most? Japan. He took all the money from the Wall Street there, invested in Japan. He bought all those places where there is radiation, where there's land and the stocks and the businesses. He bought them on pennies on a dollar. And you know, in the 80s, which was the strongest economy in the world, Japan, that made him a billionaire. So is it a challenging time? It's how we respond to that. Because, you know, stock market or any market is controlled by human emotions, isn't it? You have greed and you have fear. Greed will give you the boom, and the fear will give you the burst. But smart investors, instead of greed, they get cautious and diligently, they think about it. And instead of fear, they become courageous on the other side. So, not only investment, in any business, what we need to have is long-term optimism. There's a huge difference between short-term optimism and long-term optimism. You know, most of the people are short-term optimistic. Not only us, it's a human tendency to be short-term optimistic. But what we need is long-term optimism. This is a classic example of a general. It's an American general who was imprisoned in Vietnam during the Vietnam War. So there are a lot of generals and a lot of chief of armies, staff, they were all being captured and kept in the prison. Except one person, everybody thought they're going to be free very soon. So these people start talking to themselves, next Christmas, we're going back home. Next New Year, we are out of this. Next, my kid's birthday, I'm out of this place. So they were so short-term optimistic. But for 12 years, nothing happened. Most of those people died. They lost hope. They got sick. There was one man who was there. His name was Major Nesmith Graham. He only had one idea. When I get out of this place, I'm going to go play golf. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I'll be out one day. He was long-term optimistic. And he was the only man who came out alive from that prison camp. So the question is, are we short-term optimistic people about our conditions, or are we long-term optimistic people? And most of us are short-term. If I tell you today, I'll give you 10,000 rupees today, and I'll tell you the second option is that I'll give you 20,000 rupees after 1 year. Which one people tend to go for? 10,000 rupees today. Can't wait. You can't wait for the next year. So that's a virtue that comes along in a volatile times, in times where things are not going your way. That's why, one of the smartest investors, Benjamin Graham, once said, in short term, it is like a voting machine. In long term, it's a weighing machine. So, come to reframing our business. Come to the real task of how can we reframe our challenges and see it in a different perspective. Here's one tip for you. If you want to get 10 customers, 10 new customers, that's what you need to do. Look out for 10 different ways to get one customer. But how many of you are really thinking differently to get customers? Anybody ever tried anything differently in this year to get a customer? Haven't you been doing exactly the same way that you have done last year, a couple of years ago? Has anybody here looked out for a way to get a customer completely different here? Anybody? Anybody want to share the experience? Out of the box ideas. And it's a time for sharing, sometimes your secrets probably can help the rest of the group, Anybody got a customer, didn't do it the conventional way, didn't do the way that you have been doing all the while. You did something different, and it gave you results. Anybody? Any experience? Yeah, please. Please.
Generally, we all of IFS generally try to send gifts to all our clients on the eve of New Year or Diwali. I had a prospect list of around 100 people. I'm in this business for the last 4 years. Every year, generally, we used to send a diary or some sweets and all. This year, on the eve of New Year, I did think a little different. To all my 100 prospects, out of them, basically 50%, more than 50% are not my clients. I was reading through a book, The Habit of Winning by Prakash Iyer. So just I thought to send them this book. I've sent more than 200 books to all these people. And believe me, the mails I got, the SMS I got, that this is one of the best, wonderful gifts they have received in their life. More than 25 people have already converted into my clients.
Congratulations. Differently, doing things differently. Maybe in lead generation, in the way you got your leads, or in lead conversion.
This happened some years ago. This company belonged to the famous Dutch multinational ING. And I was for some time advisor corporate business. And ING was not making much inroads. And what I thought was, and I did my own research, which the company in India didn't do. Then I collected a lot of details from Amsterdam, US, etc. I found that within the Fortune 100 companies, this particular company was 11th. Citibank was 17th. HSBC was 87th. ABN AMRO was 181. And this is something just not projected. Then what I did was, I created a spiral-bound book about all this, went to some of India's top companies, and met the managing director, finance director personally, and put it across. Then I told them, here is a company which is 11th largest in the world, and you have 187 and 87 companies strutting about like peacocks. And you don't even know that. And I also told them, America, the federal prisons are owned by this company and leased out to American government. You see the strength of that company. Then I was able to mobilize enormous resources, and I was the guest of ING South Asia in Hong Kong, and I and my wife received the award for that.
Congratulations. That's a good story. Anybody else? Something you thought differently, did differently? Over there? Okay. Okay, over here too, yeah.
I just want to share my experience, how I get the HNI client in my life. And today, that 2-3 clients is having not less than 10 crore of AUM. So first of all, when I get way back in 2003-4, at that time the market was very low. And one of my clients get the dividend, but that address is not found by the courier company. So that courier wala asked me, can you remember, can you identify the address of this person? So I told him, okay, you deliver to me. I'm on the way of that area. So I delivered, I take the confirmation, POD, and I'll deliver to you. When I visit his house, first of all, he was a very big guy, and his bungalows always he give for the film shooting and all. When I enter in his house, I told that I want to deliver this packet. I don't know what exactly in that. When he opened that, the dividend was merely 7,000 rupees. And when he told me that, okay, thank you, I got this dividend because of you, what you are doing? I told him that I'm doing investment consultancy and all. What exactly is? Because up till now, after seeing my bungalows, after seeing my all this stuff, nobody is ready to contact me. Everybody says, "He to both he's a big guys," and we are very small in fact. And up till now, nobody's contacted me. Nobody's asked me about the funds and all. So tell me what exactly. I told him that day he gave me 1 lakh rupees. Thereafter, up till now, he gave me more than 13 crores.
Beautiful story.
Thank you.
Beautiful. You looked out for a way to serve. And when service is in your mind, you serve.
Yeah, I am Lalit Somani, Hyderabad. Last year in Economic Times Wealth magazine, which we get every Monday, it is for 5 rupees, there was one heading for child's education. And in that they have mentioned what will be the education cost for per child per year. So what I did, I just bought 100 copies of that magazine. I took a Xerox of the particular that slide they made a PPT, one Xerox copy of that, put it in a folder, and during parent-teacher meeting in the school, and I saw that most of the people are standing near bus to drop their children while going to school. So what I did, took 100 copies of that, around 40, 50 I distributed near that bus stop, and 50 I distributed in a parent-teacher meeting. Most of the parents were there below 4th standard. Next 1 week, I was bombarded with 150 calls. Is it fact that I have to make 80,000, 90,000 rupees per child? Well, I have not done anything. This is by Economic Times. You can check on how much school fees you are paying and what is the probable expenses per child. And the response was phenomenal. I ended up adding around 50 clients after that.
Fabulous story. Sharing information with people. Acting as a real consultant. Couple of more stories, and with that we move on. Over there. Yep. Yep.
Sir, mine is a very typical story. One person is an advocate. He comes to me for advice and he will invest with other agent. He comes to me for advice. He takes my advice.
Okay.
And he never invests with me.
Okay. They're only used for diagnosis and prognosis, not for treatment. They won't talk to you. Right.
He says that you give me the correct advice. You are the correct advice person.
Okay.
But I am having obligation with that man,
Okay.
so that I have to do this.
So you're like an information bureau.
I have no problem.
Okay.
I had given him the correct advice for the last 4 years.
So what do you think? And then what happened afterwards?
After 4 years, there was a small dispute with this
Previous.
agent and his son with him,
Okay.
and that whole AUM has been transferred to me.
Okay. Long-term investment. Right, over there. Could you just pass it over? Yeah? Yeah. Make it quick. We just have a couple of more.
हिंदी
Yeah.
में बोलो सर.
One
Sir,
more.
I'll
That's
tell
it.
in Hindi. This is a demand
Yeah.
of Hindi.
Yeah.
रिलायंस म्यूचुअल फंड के जो एटीएम कार्ड का जब लॉन्च हुआ था तो मैंने अपने करीब करीब 200 to 300 क्लाइंट्स को मैसेज किया था कि आप जीरो बैलेंस में सेविंग अकाउंट ओपन कीजिए जिसमें आपको 8% का अप्रॉक्सीमेट मतलब 8% का आपको इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा पर एनम एंड दैट टू विथ अ फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी टू विदड्रॉ 50,000 पर डे जो एटीएम में से 25,000 होती है और इसके अलावा आप अक्रॉस इंडिया कहीं पे भी 1 लाख रुपए की उसमें शॉपिंग कर सकते हैं वगैरह वगैरह. सो फ्रॉम दैट आई गॉट अ रिटेल कस्टमर्स ऑफ अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 25 इन नंबर्स out of
Fabulous.
300. Thank you.
Right. With that, you could share the stories afterwards too, okay? I mean, you could share these success stories, each of these formulas. We can put it together. This is the idea mix. And you could generate new ideas out of these stories. I'll give you also a different way to pitch. Now, this is called stadium pitch. There's one tool you could apply in your business. Because in every business, when you look at, you have about 3% people ready to do business with you. 6 to 7% open to the idea. You can call it a warm market for you, a hot prospects. 30% not thinking about it right now. It has not really penetrated their minds right now to make a decision on your kind of investment. 30% don't think they are interested. Maybe if you can change their mind, 30% know that they are not interested. So in usual pitch, usually we talk about what business we do, and we straight away talk about, I'm into what? What do you say? If somebody asks you, what do you do? What do you say? You straight away say what it is. So usually, that you can only reach out to that 3%. A stadium pitch is a concept. Imagine you are in a room filled with people who could be potential customers. They could be cold market, warm market, hot prospects, everything mixed up. And you can just give a message to people which generate interest from other people. Instead of putting it directly, you use it more like a teaser. That's called a stadium pitch. So let's look at a couple of stadium pitches, and I want you to respond to these stadium pitches. Okay.